Okay, one of the things I did was I sprayed this with my solution of half water and half rubbing alcohol, the 70%. It helps soften up the fibers of the wood when you're cutting, especially if the wood is a little bit on the dry side. You may want to do this for a for anything that's really tough to cut. I also have a jar that I dip it in, but you have to be careful. If you overdo it, and I keep stating this, and those of you that are new that are watching, it has a habit when it dries to check or to have cracks. So use it sparingly and do it sparingly. See, I have it soaked a little bit. You can see that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go down here. We're still working on the hat. So we're going to take our knife and we're going to go up here. And some people have asked, well, what are you using for a knife? Well, I use several different kinds. I use a Rough Rider. I use a Tom Ellis knife, the guy that made the sharpener that I have. And I use an old standard Murphy knife, and lately that's been the sharpest and the most easiest to work with lately. I also use a Rough Rider knife. Whatever is convenient and whatever is sharp at the moment, that is what I use. And I like switching it around. I don't stick with one knife all the time. They all have a different feel in your hand, you know, and you carvers know what I'm talking about with that. Some are more comfortable than others. So, you know, it's whatever works for you. Okay, so whatever's comfortable, but really it really comes down to what is the sharpest tool in the batch, and that's what I use. So right here next to the nose, I try to make that kind of deep, and I kind of take my knife and go right up along there, okay, and pull that out. And this is going to go a little deeper. Of course, this is going to be all much deeper. But we're just outlining where things are, and we'll go to the back of the hat and we'll cut from the bottom up and put a little stop cut. Alright, and here, now this is kind of funny, this is where our line is, right, for the well, let's put that in for the hat. Alright, and there's also a notch here, so what we want to do is you want to be very careful doing this, because you can notch the one on the bottom. Take little notches out to start. Okay, and then I'm going to go to the next part of the beard. Alright, and then bring this down. You don't want to pull too much. You almost want to start in the middle of it, because you don't, I've already sliced some of it out. I didn't want sliced out. Okay, so you see there's the windy part. Alright, and then we're going to round this off. And we're going to bring this down here as well. Just round that off. Okay. Now over here we're going to kind of mark this off. We're going to cut it a little bit of an angle here. Undercut. This is really separation of the beard and the hair from the back. I didn't actually put that on the line, did I? Try this again. Okay. And gotta switch to my Murphy knife. See if that's gonna work any better. Yeah, it's working. It's a little smoother for me today. Like I said, I use whatever is the sharpest knife in the box at the time. It makes carving much more enjoyable when you're using something that is nice and sharp. Okay, so we're going to match this up. The only thing with the Murphy knife, the point isn't as nice as that other knife. But I like a lot of different knives, but I usually stick with a batch of them that I interchange all the time. The nice thing about the Rough Rider pocket knife, you can take it with you and you can fold it up. You don't have to worry about the blades hitting each other in the box, you know, rolling and all that. So, alright, So we have a pretty well start here. Now what we do over here, you see, here's where the beard is, right? I don't know if you can see that. Alright, this is where the beard is. So what we're going to do is we're going to make the stop cut behind it, and we're going to undercut it, just like we normally do. You want to be oh so careful not to cut that point off. If you happen to cut it off, there's nothing you can do about it, but except glue it back on. I'm going to be very careful not to cut it off. And when you soften the wood, it helps you not to put as much pressure when you're cutting these things. Okay. And then the other thing we also need to do is we need to cut behind it. Okay. So here's our beard, right? We're going to cut behind there. We're just going to take a line here. We're just going to kind of cut it behind here, just like so. And then we're going to just take our knife and cut a little V cut up to it. Easier said than done sometimes. Here we go. Here we go. That's what I want. Okay. We'll fix all that up. You'll see we'll make everything kind of flow together a little bit later. Right there in that corner, we want to make it nice and deep and undercut it. Okay? Very good. That's what we wanted. Alright? So we have it pretty well figured out for the back portion here. We've got plenty more to do yet. We're not near done. But let's start on the top and start cutting out that that tassel at the top. We'll get back to the face here in a little bit, but you know, it's always nice to get the face kind of to a point where you're happy with the cutout. And the hat takes a little work because of the spiral, and we did that in the other video earlier. So that's pretty well the same. But I am using the V tool to cut into that. It's a little easier than doing it with a knife. See, I'm trying to follow that. The stop cut. Alright. We're going to round this off a little bit too. Take off those points. Start rounding it up. Okay, we'll keep working on that, and then what you want to do is keep rounding that up, okay, until it's a circle at the top, and then when we round off the edges. You'll see that in a second here, but at least we have the hat cut out, we have the beard kind of cut out already on the side. This will be done in a little bit here. Once we get the nose done, we'll